Vlogmas day 15. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and just like that, we back like we never left. Okay, we're gonna do one chapter again today. So chapter 20. 20 is a little bit longer than 19 was. But let's not forget why we are reading Samuel anyway. I wanted to get the backstory of David, and I wanted to find out why David is referred to as, or Jesus is referred to as the son of David instead of anybody else, or the kingdom of David. So we also know, okay, let's connect some of the things. We've been reading a lot about Samuel. Samuel born to a barren woman. Samuel is wise. Samuel could hear the voice of God before he even knew the word, or the word was revealed to him. Right? Saul was made the king after the people requested for a king. Saul was not a good leader. God wanted another leader of Israel. God told Saul that David is going to be the next leader. David defeats Goliath with a smooth stone and a slingshot. The people love David. That's what we are now. Let's get into chapter 20. Chapter 20. Saul is in Ramah. David flees from Ramah, and he goes to meet up with Jonathan and is like, hey, what have I done? What is my iniquity? Why is your father trying to kill me? Chapter 4. Then said Jonathan unto David, whatsoever thy soul desireth, I will do it for thee. So ask anything and you got it. In verse 5, it talks about David is telling Jonathan, okay, look, tomorrow is the new moon. I'm not going to eat at the dinner table tomorrow. So I'm going to go and hide. But if your dad asks where I am, tell him that I went to Bethlehem because there's a sacrifice in my city. Now, if he said, oh, okay, well, that's fine, then I know everything is good. But if he's angry about it, then it says, be sure that evil is determined by him. So that is verse 7. In verse 10, David is talking to Jonathan about, okay, so how will I know how your dad answered, how he's feeling about me not showing up to dinner? Like I always say, read everything. But David and Jonathan established a covenant. The sign of knowing how Saul answered, Jonathan tells David, okay, let's go to the field. So Jonathan said he will bring a lad or one of the small servants out with him to shoot arrows. He said, if I shoot the arrows and tell the servant that, okay, they're right there, then that means that everything is good. But if I shoot the arrows and say that they are beyond, that means, it's not good. Just run. David goes to hide. Then it's the next day. It's tomorrow, the new moon. They go to sit down to dinner. David's seat is empty, and Saul doesn't say anything about it. The second day, the same thing happens. David's seat is empty, so he asks Jonathan about it. Jonathan tells him David went to Bethlehem because there's a sacrifice in his city. In verse 30, then Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan, and he said unto thou son of the perverse rebellious woman, do not I know that thou hast chosen the son of Jesse of thine own confusion, and unto the confusion of thy mother's nakedness. So he's saying that I know that you chose the son of Jesse, who was David, against me. 32. And Jonathan answered Saul his father and said unto him, wherefore shall he be slain? What had he done? It's the same thing that David asked, like, what did I do? What was my iniquity? So it says that Saul threw a javelin at Jonathan. He didn't hit him. Um, he threw it in anger. So Jonathan gets up from the table. Then he takes the lad with him out into the field. He shoots the arrows. Um, he shoots the arrows, and when the lad goes to run after them, after the arrows, Jonathan tells them it's beyond. So we know that the covenant between David and Jonathan is when he says that the arrows are beyond, that means that it's not good, that you should just leave. That's the signal. The lad collects all the arrows and he carries them back to the city. And 42, and Jonathan said to David, go in peace, for as much as we have sworn both of us in the name of the Lord, saying, the Lord be between me and thee, and between my seed and thy seed forever. And he arose and departed, and Jonathan went into the city. So between me and you, Jonathan and David, and between our children also. Um, so Jonathan went back into the city, and David left. Okay, so we're going to leave it right there for today. What are we thinking about the scripture? My thoughts on it, it's really interesting to see Jonathan and David's relationship, specifically because in the previous scriptures, like, Jonathan was just like doing what he wanted to do, and he was one of the reasons why the war between the Philistines and Israel had started again. But now it's like he wants to do right by by David. So I think that is how. What are you guys saying about this? But that was chapter 20. As always, I would really love your feedback. But like I say, read everything. Read everything. And always make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.